Welcome to Thriving Together, Life at the Bradley, where we bring you stories of inspiration from our vibrant, active community. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Schuett.
So we're here at the Bradley Retirement Living up in our lovely library, and I have the pleasure today of speaking with Thelma Fox, who is our oldest resident and sort of like the matriarch of our building, I like to think. Thelma's 101, but you would absolutely never know it. Yes. Thank you for joining us today, Thelma.
You're welcome.
So what was your childhood like, Thelma? Being 101, you must have some stories to tell.
Well, I guess the first thing I can remember is my mother put me in a class for speaking.
Oh.
Yes, recitations. And
Okay,
things.
yes.
So I was 7 years old, and then I got on to CKLW in Windsor. They were just opening the new radio station.
Right.
And they had a children's program on Saturday morning.
Oh, how
So
fun.
I was on that children's program for, I guess, 4 years, every Saturday morning.
That's amazing. So what did you do on this program? I've never
Well,
heard
I
this story.
recited.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I brought my little book with a lot of my things I used to recite. But, I recited. I had to learn these different things. Some were stories. Some were just things that Edgar Guest had written.
Right.
But some were stories that you had to go through and tell different stories. And I had to memorize all of this.
So you kept your brain sharp even then, eh?
Well, some of these stories would be 2-3 pages long.
Okay.
And I could not have a paper when I went out to do my thing.
Right.
But from then on, and maybe until I was 12, I went out to different things, to suppers and women's clubs and men's clubs in Windsor and Detroit, and recited. And then I got to be 12 years old, and I decided that was enough.
That was enough of that.
Yeah.
So were you always... You're quite a confident lady, I find. I find you're very easy to talk to. Were you always like that, even as a child? I think for somebody doing recitations would be quite. Do you find?
Yes. Well, it helped, But I was never growing through my teens and when I was first married, I was never as open
Okay.
as I am. I've learned that, to be open and to... if something's bothering you, to talk about it.
So you and I have talked about this
Yes.
on previous times, and you said that you weren't as willing to tell people your feelings.
No.
So
But I find that different now, and I can question other people about, are they feeling okay?
So what prompted the change, do you think?
Oh, I think my second husband.
Okay.
He said to me once, he said, don't keep it up in your head. He said, if something's bothering you, sit down and we'll talk about it and we'll work it out. And I learned to do that. And he was marvelous at that. He was an attorney, but so that was part of his training too. But he imparted that to me.
I think that's a great life lesson.
Yes, it is.
And because it's hard, because we don't want to
No.
share often with everybody
No.
what's going on with us, but sometimes that's like the greatest gift you can have.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So I think that's amazing that you've learned that, because
Yes.
a lot of people never do.
No, and I didn't in the first part of my life, and when I was married to him, I did learn it, and it helped in a lot of situations, Otherwise, I would go along and I would be driving myself crazy because it would be up in my head, and then you take that to bed with you and you think about it, and it grows.
Right. Things seem bigger.
Yes.
As you say, especially when you go to bed.
Yes, and
Problems seem bigger in the night somehow.
No, it does, and so I did learn that,
I love that. So you mentioned your second husband. I knew that you'd been married twice.
Yes.
And you had told me before your second husband was the love of your life. How did you meet him?
I started working for him.
Oh, wow.
In his office. Well,
Okay.
I had met him before that, but I worked for him after we were married for 11 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but my first husband was killed.
Right.
And I had when he was killed, I had the 4 children. So that was a struggle.
That's a lot to take on by yourself.
Yes. But I was working at the time, so,
You
life
do what
goes
you have
on.
to do. Yeah. So you grew up in Windsor, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And then you've moved to the States.
Well, I worked for 5 years in Windsor, and then we decided to go to Michigan. My first husband's parents lived in Detroit.
Okay.
And I decided to get a job over there because it was more money.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I traveled back and forth for several years from Windsor across the tunnel and to work every day. Mm-hmm. And then I finally moved over there when my children were all grown.
So when you came back, when did you come back? Did you come back after your husband passed?
Yes, yes, that was 4.5 years ago.
Okay, so 4.5 years ago, your husband's passed, you come back to Canada. What does that look like? Did you move right away into this retirement residence, or what happened?
Well, my daughter, the first year after my husband passed away, I came out here for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And so she took me around to 2 or 3 places just to see what they were like. And I came in here and I liked it. So I kept that in my mind. And then I decided in the next several months that I needed to sell a house and do something. So that was when she suggested we take a look at this place again.
Right.
And so I moved right here from Detroit.
Oh, okay.
I just stayed with her for a week. I think that was in COVID time.
Right, just during the move.
And
right.
So I moved right here afterwards. And it was hard. It's hard for everybody at that time.
And hard in what way? Just to make the decision to move into a retirement home, or because you were moving from a different country back to your home country, or what was the difficult part for you?
I don't know. My husband was American, and he was born and brought up in the Detroit area, but his children were all scattered all over the United States, so I didn't feel that I was sort of taking him away, so I brought his ashes with me.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So I decided he was going to live in Canada.
Well, there you go. Just immigrate
I never
him.
lost my I never lost my Canadian citizenship, though.
Right.
All that time.
So what age were you when you moved in here? You were in your 90s.
I was 97, I think, when I moved here.
And so we're an independent building. Was that a concern for you? Because we're an independent living building. We don't have nursing staff.
Yes.
Was that a concern for you? Or?
No, because I didn't need any help at that time. And I still really don't.
Right.
I still do. I don't have anybody coming in to help me with anything.
Right.
So I think, you have to take it as it comes.
Right.
I don't want, a couple of times I thought, I'd like somebody to help me with my shower.
Right.
But then I kept on going, and I'm still doing my shower, so.
Right. Which probably people would be surprised, right?
Well, I guess, yeah, but.
But that's the thing, because you could always do it if you needed the help.
That's
you can
right.
always get it
You can
here.
always get it.
Right.
Yeah, so.
So what surprised you about aging? What is something that you thought, I didn't think that would happen?
I've never really thought about aging. People have said to me, what do you contribute this to, just living so long?
What's
I
the
said,
secret?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, you go on and you live week to week and year to year. Now all of a sudden another year passes and you're another year older.
So
I don't feel any different.
So maybe just not thinking about it.
No.
You're just living your life.
Yeah, I don't really think about it.
And I know you've said to me before when we've talked about this that people always ask you, what's the secret?
Yeah.
And there maybe isn't
any
a secret.
No.
Be yourself. Be happy.
Yes.
We've said
Be
before.
smart about what you eat and drink and things. I used to enjoy cocktails with my husband, and I found that my system couldn't handle that anymore, so that's fine.
So listen to yourself.
Yes, you have to, I think.
Right.
But I have a few little things that, my knees hurt, and and I have a little trouble breathing sometimes, but I mean, you expect that at this age.
And I think that's the thing. I think you're very realistic about things.
Yeah.
Like when we talk, you always seem to be very wise and no, you are. But you're also very young at heart. Considering 101,
Yes.
you're younger at heart than a lot of us are.
Yeah.
I always say you're like my mentor. I want to figure out how to live my life because of you, and because you participate in bingo. You were doing the conga line at our Caribbean night. You go to events. You baked with me at Christmas.
Yes.
You do all those fun things.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe that is the secret.
I don't know.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep
Yeah.
doing what you love, right?
Yeah. I
And-
know my doctor asked me not too long ago, a few months ago, he said, "Are you happy?" And I said, "Yes. Mostly I think I am." And he said, "I think that's the secret."
Because we got to give ourselves permission
Yeah.
to be happy, right?
Yeah.
It's a choice.
That's that old saying, laugh and the world laughs with you, cry and you cry alone.
Absolutely.
And that's true. Yeah.
You've got to always find the happy things in the everyday.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. And I find that with you. I find you're very joyful. Even when you're heckling me at bingo when I don't call your numbers, I find that fun. Like, I love that. I love, you've got that sparkle in your eye.
I always think some of the other people might think, why doesn't she keep quiet?
No, you're fun. I mean, I love that, like that spunk,
Yeah.
So what do you think the younger generation needs to know about seniors? Do you think there's misconceptions about what seniors are like?
I don't know. I know my grandchildren just treat me like everybody else.
Which is great.
Yes, and I think you don't treat an old person like they are old,
Right?
and you often find that sometimes old people take advantage and they want to push ahead and get ahead, and you can't. You have to just be right in there with the crowd and go along the best you can.
Respect, right?
Yeah, it's respect for each other, I think.
Yeah, I always love talking to you because it's common sense, but common brilliance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the little things are the big things.
Well, I've often said, some of these people that have so much education and they've gone to this school and that school and the other one, but they don't use their common sense in a lot of things.
Yeah, it's our greatest tool, really.
Yeah.
And we got to listen to ourselves, right?
Yes.
And I think that speaks
Sometimes I don't like what I hear.
I know. Sometimes we don't like what we're saying. But I think what you said earlier is you've allowed yourself, even you're older than 100, but you said you've allowed yourself to change and make changes. And they will say, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, you can.
No.
You can if you're willing
Yes,
to.
you can.
You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
And not that I'm calling you an old dog, never.
No, of course not.
Looking back on your life, what would you tell younger Thelma? What would you tell yourself?
What I wish I had done differently?
Yeah.
I wish I had paid more attention in school.
Oh,
I thought it was just a lark,
okay.
and I was always getting into trouble for laughing or talking when I shouldn't. And I didn't study the way I should.
Okay.
And I wish I had, because, it would have been so much nicer to know so many more things.
Right.
But I didn't. So I would like to have gone back and just been a little more careful in school.
I love that answer. There's still time, Thelma. We got so much time to learn. We got still time.
I finished high school.
Yeah. What would you like to tell people, too, about living in retirement homes?
I think you have to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to get involved.
Right.
I know some of the people in here, and I know some of them, they do not get involved. They stay in their apartment. They
Right.
just come down to eat and go back.
Right.
And I think that's wrong. I think even if you just come down to the concerts,
Right.
now I used to do line dancing. I wish I could still do it.
Yeah, you were still doing it just not too long ago.
Yeah,
You
but
were
I
doing it
wish
in
I
the
could
chair.
go back. I've thought about going back to it, and then I don't think I can.
No, but I love how you challenge yourself still. You'll come down to do things that maybe you haven't tried or done before.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, our Caribbean night, doing the conga, doing
Yeah.
different things. And you always have your puzzles in your room.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
You're kind of like a big part of our tours. They can come see you doing your puzzles,
Yes. Well, this is that's another thing I would tell people. Don't lock yourself into your room all the time.
Right.
Like, I have my door closed sometimes,
Yeah.
but I like to keep it open sometimes because I just call hello to the people that go by, and it just keeps you involved with the place. And you're just not sitting in there by yourself.
Do you think it's a fear thing? Do you think as we age, we start to get a little more closed into ourselves and we have to let ourselves be open to new things? And maybe sometimes that's hard to start?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah. I think what I love about you, though, is you are so open. I think, as they say, I think people have this stereotype of somebody in the, 80s, 90s, 100s. They've stopped.
Yes. Yes.
And you can't stop.
No, you can't. And the other thing I like about here is you people are so nice to all of us. Mm-hmm. And it's just surprising that they will talk to you about different things, and like Tim, he's always so friendly. Mm-hmm. And I like that.
Right.
All of them are. You and all of them.
I think that's the thing, because you're part of the bigger community, right?
Yes.
All part of the one whole.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Well, as always, Thelma, I always love talking to you. And I think it's such a blessing in my life that I get to see you on a daily basis and you can share everything,
Yes,
about your wonderful life.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Thriving Together at the Bradley. We hope today's conversation helped you connect with the stories and experiences that shape our community. Be sure to join us next time for more conversations from the people who make the Bradley truly special. Until then, take good care and keep thriving.